Hey everybody, this is Ryan from Justifier Just Do It Coaching, and I wanted to share with you why I'm puzzled. Over the weekend, my wife and I celebrated, along with our son and the family, her grandmother's on her mother's side 100-year birthday. So it was a pretty amazing event. Not too often, or who knows if I'll ever be able to attend another 100-year-old birthday. She's in great health. She looks great. She's probably going to be 110 before she leaves us because she's in that good health. And her mind is still completely there. So I married into good genes, let's put it that way. But besides that, we stayed at a bed and breakfast in the small town that her mother lives in, and in that bed and breakfast, in the main hallway, they had a big table that had puzzles. And I have a 3.5-year-old son, and they had one puzzle completed, two other puzzles there, one dumped out, basically saying "Start me." So I took my 3.5-year-old and I said, let's do a puzzle. And he does his 16-piece puzzles and things of that nature. And he plays on his iPad with puzzles. So he puts puzzles together and he gets it. Uh, and my wife was in the room. And we were out there for about an hour, hour and a half. And what do you do when you do a puzzle? For those of you who haven't done a puzzle, the easiest thing to do is get the border done. You find those straight edges and you start connecting them. If you find any other like pieces or colored pieces, you kind of pile them together knowing that they're going to go together in some shape, form, or another. Long story short, let's keep it a long story because my wife comes out of the room after about an hour and a half. She looks at the puzzle and she says, "That's all you got done," which I had the majority of the border done, the piles done, and obviously I'm dealing with a 3.5-year-old, which pulls things apart as I'm putting them together and things of that nature. But the organization of the puzzle building project, the hard labor was done, if you would. I had my pieces separated out. I had some things put together. I had the plan mapped out, and I was ready and set up for success. So later on, when we got back from dinner that night, she went to bed with the baby, and I said, I'll spend an hour on the puzzle and listen to an audiobook. So I'm sitting there, and I get a little bit more done. I have the entire border done now, and a couple key components, easier parts of the puzzle that were put together, built. Uh, so the next day is a full day, right? And now I have maybe 25% of the puzzle done, but more things in place. And I remember thinking to myself, as I said, I'm going to go listen to my audiobook the next night after we got back from the party. I don't sleep a lot. So I was like, it'll give me the opportunity to listen to the audiobook. It'll give me the opportunity to clear my mind after a long day of spending time with friends and family and running around town. And my mother-in-law's car actually broke down, and I had to take care of that. And just a lot of things happened throughout the day, and I just wanted a couple hours to relax. And my goal was, I knew we were leaving first thing in the morning. Let me finish this puzzle tonight. I set a goal. I had a plan. And as the plan started going, I remember thinking to myself as I'm doing it, my wife was like, I would never do a puzzle. It just takes too much time. It's patience, guys. Just like building your businesses, just like getting to your goals. It's one piece at a time. You just need to take one step at a time. You just need to put one piece into another piece. Once you find the pieces, but you got to take time to find the pieces. See, I related it directly to my own profession and what it is that I do. As I started putting in a plan, what do you do? What's the goal? I wanted to complete the puzzle. Why did I want to complete the puzzle? Part of it was just to wind down. Another part of it was as my son was helping me. He kept saying, Daddy, I want to help. I want to help. I would say, find this piece. Find the pieces that are the same color. Can you put them in a pile for Daddy? It's a learning lesson. It's a teaching lesson. And the other thing I wanted to teach my son is that when you start something, you finish it. And I told him it was going to get done by the end of the weekend. So when he woke up in the morning and the puzzle was done, he's like, Daddy, you finished it? I was like, yeah, I finished it. And you helped me. See, I couldn't have done it without your help because we need teams around us. And he was all excited, and he was excited to see it, and he went out and he was so proud because he helped me do it. See, there's a reason for it, but we planned, and there was a process, and the process changed. See, towards the end of the puzzle, there was a lot of pieces that looked exactly the same. Not that it was a sky, but picture a puzzle that is just blue sky. It's all the same shade of blue. Well, I got down to like the last 50, 60 pieces of this puzzle, and they all looked exactly the same. I needed to shift gears. So what did I do? There was one or two pieces missing in multiple areas of the puzzle that I just couldn't find those pieces, right? A whole section would be done, but one piece in the middle was just missing. And I knew the shape. I knew the color because they were all the same. They were all like an off beige. I was like, they all look the same. So I divided them up into shapes. The ones that looked like an X had little prongs on each side. There were ones that had 5, and then there was ones that were shaped that had an indent, and then 2 sticking out and 1 at the bottom. And I was like, I gotta go to by shape at this point. And as the shapes started disappearing, then I could fit back the pieces that were left and try them out in the areas. But as I got closer to my goal, it didn't get easier. You think there's only 50 pieces left, it's easy. No, they all looked exactly the same with not much variation. When you get closest to your goal is when it gets the most difficult. Why? Because you know you're that much closer. Sometimes you have to shift gears into another gear. Imagine you're climbing Mount Everest, you're exhausted, you're towards the peak, you know you're close, your mind's telling you it's really close, but your body's giving up on you because it's exhausted. You need to shift gears. Maybe you downshift and rest for a day if you're on Mount Everest. In my case with the puzzle, I needed a different strategy because the strategies of finding like pieces weren't working any longer. Now I needed to find the ones that were like, not in color, but in shape. But I had to make that shift or I probably wouldn't have finished the puzzle. So what areas of your life and what areas of your goals are you sitting there trying to do the same exact strategy all the way through and it's not working? You need to shift. You need to change. But you also need to have a goal. See, if I hadn't had the goal to finish it by the end of the weekend, I would have went to bed that night. But I made a promise to me and my son that, hey, we're going to get this done. We're going to get it done together. And although he helped me minimally, it made him feel as a 3.5-year-old amazing because he contributed. So don't be puzzled by life. Don't be puzzled with your goals. Set a goal within your puzzle so that you can accomplish it. They call it a puzzle because it's difficult to do. It's not easy. It challenges you. It takes time. Not only time does it take, but it takes patience. You can't get a drive-through puzzle. It's a great learning tool for yourself to test your patience. It's a great learning tool to see whether or not you'll finish things to completion. It's a great tool for life to teach you patience and strategy in other things that you approach. So if you're having challenges with your goals, try to sit down and do a puzzle. Because how you do anything is how you do everything. And if you find yourself getting impatient with a simple little box puzzle, a 500, maybe 1,000-piece puzzle, see the correlation. And if you could see that puzzle through to completion, maybe over a weekend. It took me about 5 hours, by the way, to from start to finish, about the time I put in to do a 550-piece puzzle. When I was in high school, it's funny, I did one in high school. It took me about a week and a half. And probably about 2 hours a night because I didn't have strategy. I didn't have the life experience. I didn't know that I could finish it over the weekend because the last time I did a puzzle was in high school over 20 years ago. But I set a goal. I had a plan. I executed that plan. I had soothing book in my ear that I was learning, so I wasn't fully concentrated on that. I was just going through the motions. So set a goal for your puzzle. Create a puzzle. Buy a puzzle. Buy something that you would like to hang. Maybe you'll frame it or something so that there's an end goal to it, not just doing a puzzle. But if you can't do a puzzle, I challenge you. If you can't do a puzzle for 5 to 10 hours and watch the mind work and see how it takes you out and puts you back and takes you out and puts you back, or if you can't find a strategy, like my wife was like, why are you doing the boulder? She's never done a puzzle. I said, because it's the easiest part to do. And she's like, I would never do it that way, yet she's never done a puzzle. So find your strategy within the puzzle and get better and better and better until it's complete. And if you could accomplish that, and when you accomplish that, take some of those same strategies into your life and your other goals. But be persistent. Step by step, piece by piece, complete your goals. This is Ryan from Justify or Just Do It. Go get puzzled.